What's up, noobs? Welcome back to Noob's Perspective. Today is part 4 of the simple Python program, and I am going to be working on the GUI. And this simple program has gotten a lot more complicated.
For me, I'm in some unknown territory here.
I worked a little bit with tkinter, which is what I'm using for the GUI, and it's not as easy for me as I thought it would be. But my goal is to get at least one button working in the GUI, and then we'll call it quits from there if it's taking too long, and continue where we left off with the other buttons. Let's get started. So it wasn't as straightforward as I thought, so I looked up some documentation on using tkinter and Python from the python.org site.
And this is as of Python 3. You can browse here if you'd like to, docs.python.org/3, 4, unless you're on 2, you could do /2.
So I'm actually just going to kind of copy this template right here, where they're just creating a class, so they're importing tkinter and condensing its name to tk, so that you can save some typing there. So I've got my part 4 open right here, and I'm not just gonna straight across copy it in. I'm actually gonna get the GUI set up first and then start adding my functions in as I go. I'm just gonna take all this and take out the parts that I don't need and try and make sense of what we're working with here. Okay, so I get how that works. It's importing tkinter as tk, so that instead of typing tkinter, my bad. So instead of typing tkinter.tk, I can type in tk.tk. This next part is initializing the function.
I'm not 100% sure how to explain all this. I know a little bit about init, know a little bit about super, but not enough that I want to read you straight.
At the moment, I will study up some more and try and explain it for you later when I know a little bit more how these are working on the back end. So this say hi function is useless to me. I'm going to add my functions down here, and I can get rid of the hi there. I'm ready to add in my own functions. So let's start up here. This pack method right here, this is to place your buttons on the window, your widgets on the window, and you can place them in sections like the top or the left or the right. You can specify that. But I am actually going to be using grid, because I think grid might be a little more helpful in my use case, where I'm going to be using grid to specify row and column. So I feel like I have a little more control as to where I can put the buttons.
Control is important to me.
And since I'm using grid, I need to change that and specify a row and column instead of just saying what side it's going to be on. So I'm just going to specify row 2 because actually my first button is going to go in row 1, and I might just keep shifting this down as I add more buttons. So to create the button for my encourage, I'm going to start with the encourage. I'm going to need to add the function in here. I'll just copy it straight across. That part's pretty easy. I need to make sure we've got it included up here. Okay, now my function's in here. I need to create a button for it and a call to it. So I'm actually gonna call my button encouragement. I'm gonna make the button here. So button is a function in the tkinter library. So that's how I'm going to create my button. And remember, I condensed tkinter to tk using this method, so I need to reference it as tk.button. Need to include self, and then I can create text for the button. We'll just call it encourage, and then there are a bunch of other things that I could do. I can even specify the color of it, but I'm actually for now just going to make sure it's working and get the command in.
Self.dot, and then we're calling the function.
Now I need to place the button on the window. This just says what the button is going to do and look like. I'm going to configure the button. I'm just saying how tall and wide it's going to be. Actually, let me see what happens if I don't do that. I'm going to place it on the window using grid. Specify a row equals 1, column 1. Okay, so I've got my buttons up here. Now if I launch encourage, it gives me an error, and that is, I knew it. It's because I didn't include self here. Now if I click encourage, I can interact with this. Now notice how it doesn't give control back over to the shell here. It doesn't give the greater thans. Because it's still running the program is being run as long as this window's open. So if I quit, destroy the window, it ends the program, and control is given back to the shell. This quit button is just destroying the master window. You can kind of think of that as my main menu where everything's going to be housed. I can actually create some more menus. I'm thinking that after I call my buttons, I'm going to have my buttons create another window to display some information and possibly like a back button in that window. But we've got that working. I want to add in random number.
The purpose of this video, I guess, is going to be getting the buttons working to where they will initiate my functions in the shell. But long-term goal is I want to be able to click the button and then have it open a new window to show me what the function is doing. So the encourage one I'd like to open in its own window and have a text box, and it'll say, are you sad? And then in the text box you can type. So that's my long-term goal for my functions, is to create an interface with them. But for now, I'm just getting the buttons working and having them launch in the shell.
That one works so far. I'm going to add in the random number.
I need to get random number set up, so I need to put self in here. I need to make sure random number's up here, and I need to create a button for it so that it knows how to handle it. Yeah. We'll call it rando, and it's going to be a button. Self text equals random number. We'll get a command to call the random number function. And then I would like to configure the size of the button. Not config. We're going to do a height of 1 and a width of 30. We're going to make it huge, and I'm going to place it on the window. We're using grid, so I get to specify the row that it goes on. And I'm actually going to set this just under the first button. I'll move the quit button down as well.
So that'll be 3. So theoretically that works.
No attribute random number. What did I do? Called it rand number. Need a rando number. We have random number, and is this correctly spelled? No attribute config.
Oh, see, I really need to work on my names here, because this was just supposed to be called rando. And that's the problem we're getting.
Confuse myself there.
Okay, so the random number generator right there is pretty wide. So we'll stay random number between 100 and 3000. So random is not defined, so I need to import random. Import random. Random 100 and 3000. Great, that was 30,000. Okay, cool. So that works, and then I can launch another thing. Yes, I'm sad. Thing in there. Perfect. I'm going to use config here to change the size of my buttons.
Sorry, config. Actually going to use over on here. Self.config height equals 1, and we'll do width equals 30. I like them wide buttons.
And we're going to make quit also a wide button. Okay, encourage for some reason I didn't get right. Because I didn't get the right name in there. Perfect, so my buttons are in here, and I can launch my programs, my buttons. Awesome. Okay, so far they're working. I'm going to get the rest added off camera. It's going a little long and I feel like I haven't done a ton. I'm going to read up a little more on tkinter and try and figure out how that works. Read up a little more on classes because classes are a little fuzzy for me. There's some great resources out there. It's not ideal to just, copy and paste and get it to work. I can get it to work, but
The problem is I want to know how it works and how each part works. So the goal here is to get everything in and then just kind of learn what all this means. What this initialize function right here does, and just kind of how the tkinter library works. So I'm going to brush up on that, add the rest of these in, and then in the next video we'll try and get the windows, the functions to open their own new windows and display the information in there and have text boxes and things like that.
I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.